Just the perfect person we need. So they searched high and they searched low, and they found just the perfect person to be the MC tonight. Unfortunately, that gentleman got sick at the last minute, so you get stuck with me. You know, we talked about having the opportunity to be back with a live audience again, and we're kind of coming out of this COVID thing now, but there's some things that are never going to be the same again as they were before we went into this COVID thing. And well, there's things that are different now than when I was a young man, and today they mean something totally different. You can pick just about any subject. Take marriage, for instance. Now, a preacher told me the other day, he said this young couple called me and asked if I would come and perform their wedding ceremony. And he said he would. And they gave him the date. And they said, now we're getting married at 10 o'clock in the morning. And he said, well, most people get married in the afternoon or in the evening. Why are you getting married at 10 o'clock in the morning? I said, oh, that way if the marriage don't work out, the whole day won't be ruined. That's just where we are now. It goes the other way, too. You can go to the other extreme in marriage. Imagine, if you will, this older couple. They've been married for 50 years. They're sitting out on the front porch in their rocking chair. And the husband looks over lovingly at his wife and says, honey, after being married for 50 years, I have found you to be tried and true. She said, what? What'd you say? He said, honey, a little bit louder. I said, after 50 years of marriage, I have found you to be tried and true. She said, say that again. I didn't hear you. So he yelled as loud as he could. He said, after 50 years of marriage, you're tried and true. She yelled back at him and said, well, after 50 years of marriage, I'm tired of you too. So it can go to both extremes. What about all this money the government's been spending? $3 trillion last year they printed up. Now that wasn't altogether bad because they helped a lot of folks out financially who might not have made it through otherwise, but they always seem to find ways to sneak a little money under the table there. Even back before COVID, I remember one time they spent $10 million doing a study to find out how long it took a snail to crawl from the back door of the house, around the house, to the front door of the house. $10 million. And the obvious question there is, who cares? Yeah. During COVID, here just a while back 6 months ago or so, when they were handing out all the money to everybody, they found ways to slip money in there too. They did a $32 million study on the American people. And what they did, they hired groups to go out into all the shopping malls, shopping centers, grocery stores, and they just sat on a bench and they just watched people. Have you ever done that? I like to do that, just sit on a bench and, well, you see some strange things sometimes. But anyway, they just watched the people as they walked by. They looked at their facial features and the expression on their face, and they made notes on all of it. And here's what they concluded. At the end of the $32 million study, they concluded that 1 in every 3 Americans is ugly. And I thought, $32 million, we could put that to the test right here tonight, and it won't cost us a penny. So here's how we're going to put it to the test. I want you to turn real slowly and look at the person's face sitting to the left of you. Now turn real slowly and look at the person's face sitting to the right of you. Now if that person on the left of you looked okay and that person on the right of you looked okay, guess what? You know, it could be. I know if I was out there and I was in the middle, it definitely would be me. Well, this first group we've got coming up here for you tonight, they were formed back in 2010, and you won't believe what all they've accomplished in 11 years. They've had #1 songs on the bluegrass charts, #1 albums on the bluegrass charts. Tim Graves, who leads the group. And by the way, he's the brother of Ted Graves that you're going to be seeing later on tonight with the All-Star Band. And it's really difficult to get the two brothers and both of their bands together at the same time on the same stage. But we have been able to accomplish that here tonight. They've been nominated for 70 major awards. They have won 32 major awards. They were the Bluegrass Gospel Group of the Year in 2019 and in 2020. And I've got to say this, back in 2015, Tim Graves was nominated and elected into the Bluegrass Music Hall of Fame. And he's going to be playing his Tim Graves signature beer guitar here tonight. You're going to see him when he brings it out here in just a minute. But 14 times he's been nominated the Dobro Player of the Year, including the last 11 years in a row. Now, also last year in 2020, he was awarded the Master Gold Dobro Player of the Year by SPIGMA, which is the Society for the Preservation of Bluegrass Music in America. He's the only person who's ever received that award. And we know you're going to enjoy them tonight. Fantastic band that he's got here with him. And the big news is they just come out with a list for 2021 of the top 200 artists worldwide. And out of the top 200 artists worldwide, this group finished number 2. Would you welcome to the stage, ladies and gentlemen, Tim Graves and the Farmhand.
How you doing? We'll put an end to that here real quickly. It is a pleasure to get to be back at the Palace Theater. We've been here before, and we're going to be doing some songs tonight. We do one that you know and you want to sing along with us. That'll be just fabulous. If your neighbor don't mind, we don't mind a bit. So, we'll have a good night. We're going to have some bluegrass, and we're going to have some gospel, and we're going to have some country music. So y'all just sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. We're going to start off with a wonderful number that we've been doing a long time called Why You Been Gone So Long? Y'all ready, boys? Every time it rains, well, I run to my window. All I do is just wring my hands and moan. Listen to that thunder, Lord, can't you hear that lonesome wind blow? Tell me, baby, now why you been gone so long? Tell me, baby, now why you been gone so long? You been gone so long now. Tell me, baby, now why you been gone so long? Nashville, Tennessee. And like he said, I started this band back in 2010. And we do about 150 shows a year all over the country. And with all the fuel going higher and the COVID we've been dealing with, next year I ain't going to do 150 shows a year, I don't think. Until we get fueled up, I'm going to stay at the house, I think. But anyway, we're going to do a song that I've been doing a long time. And, you know, this is a country song, but I do it on every bluegrass festival I go to. Get a lot of requests for it. Hope you enjoy this. It's called I Never Go Around Mirrors. What you got, Jim?
I was thinking about it too. I was ready for the
You gotta watch these guitar players, man, I tell
I was
you.
ready for the third.
Tell you what. I can't stand to see a good man go to waste. One who never combs his hair or shaves his face. A man who leans on wine or love that's told lies. Oh, it tears me up to see a grown man cry. So I never go around mirror. I can't stand to see me without you by my side. No, I never go around mirror because I got a heartache to hide. I can't stand to be where heartaches hang around. It's so easy for the blues to get me down. To see a grown man crawl is more than I can stand. Well, I can't look into the eyes of half a man. So I never go around mirror. I can't stand to see me without you by my side. Well, I never go around mirror because I got a heartache to hide. And it tears me up to see a grown man cry. Thank you so much. Ernestine, what are you doing? You just don't throw no rocks while you're out there. We got a bunch of new people here. This band had about the same members for about 8 years. And then all of a sudden COVID came in, everything started changing. And sometimes change is good, you know? It was for me, I tell you that. But it was, we got some new members up here, and I want to tell you all about them. I want to introduce them to you and let them perform for you as we go along. We'll start with this banjo player. This banjo player is royalty in bluegrass music. His father was Don Reno. And I love Don Reno's playing. People ask me, they say, who's your favorite banjo player? I said, well, it's a cross between Earl Scruggs and Don Reno. They say, which one you like the best? I said, well, I I can't choose. I said, because they were so different. And so whenever Don contacted me and said, I'd like to come and work with you, man, I'd like to jump through the phone. And I said, man, we would love to have you. He's a wonderful singer. He's a wonderful banjo player. And he's just a wonderful guy to run down the road with. We're going to have him come around and pick one for you. If you will, make him welcome, Mr. Don Wayne Reno. Let me, before we go any further, I need to tell you about our name. I get these questions everywhere I go, they'll say, and it's always the same three questions, just like everybody talks together, you know? They'll say, farm hands. Were you raised up on a farm? I was raised up on a farm. Remember out on Spirit Creek? Yeah. We had cattle and horses and all kinds of stuff out there. So I was sort of raised up on a farm. I put it like that. Then they'll say, farm hands. Where's your overalls? I love overalls. I had overalls when I was growing up. I don't mind admitting that. I love overalls. I think they're the most comfortable garment a man can put on. And you never run out of pockets. You know, they got pockets everywhere. So I love overalls. And then they'll say, farm hands. We saw you pull up in a bus. We figured you'd pull up in a tractor. I get that. Yeah. But let me tell you, our name comes from Scripture in Matthew where it says the harvest is plenty, it's the workers that are few. Pray for that he will send workers into the harvest. Well, if you went down to Tellico Plains and you put a harvest out, you would call them farmhands. And so that's where I got the name. So I come up with the name farmhands. And it's worked for us so well. So we do a lot of churches, we do a lot of theater, we do a lot of bluegrass festivals. You know, so that's a little weird. I mean, we're weird anyway, you know. So I mean, with our name might as well fit the weirdness of us, you know. So, but we also have a little thing that we have on our record table. If you went by our record table, you'll see we've got CDs and all that stuff like everybody else does. But we carry a table full of fried pies. You say, why in the world will a bluegrass band carry fried pie? Let me tell you, we got hooked up with this little company back when we first started this band, and they had been in business since 1946, the same year that bluegrass music actually was created. And they just started saying they enjoyed our band, and they would come and hear us play and stuff. And so they had this little company called Armstrong Pies. And they've been, like I said, been in business since 1946, still using the same recipe. Well, on a whim one day, I said, you know what, let's take some of those pies out and see if anybody at the shows would like to buy them. So we went to this bluegrass festival, and I got to tell them about these pies, and these pies have a secret ingredient. Well, I knew about the ingredient, but everybody else said it was a secret ingredient. And so we started talking about these pies, and people lined up for 40 yards to buy them. I couldn't understand it. So we kept on traveling, and the more we traveled, the more I understood that there are people in America, I'm talking about voting Americans now, that do not know what lard is. Can you believe that? And we wonder what's wrong with our country. You know? So it's the weirdest thing. I tell them how you make it, they get a funny look on their face, and I tell them about rendering it, what they really get a funny look on their face. I said, look, it's just like Crisco on steroids. So they sort of understood that. So we have a table full of fried pies, and you have got to get out there and get your daily supply of lard. You know that lard got a bad rap like eggs, so now they're saying everything should be cooked in lard because it's all natural. There's no ingredient, no preservatives or anything. So we have those on our table. So get back there as soon as you can and get your daily supply of lard. We have all kinds of different flavors. We got blueberry and apple and peach and just strawberry, all kinds of what we got. So I want to explain that before we went any further because it puts a little bit plainer with why we have our name called Farmhand. So let's see here, guys. Yeah, we'll do that in just a second. I'm going to have our new guitar player come around. He's been with us a few months now. He's doing a good job. He comes to us from down in Nashville, and he plays a good guitar. And we're going to have him come around and sing a song for you. And I know you're going to enjoy this song. But we'll make him welcome Mr. Jimmy Haynes.
How y'all doing this evening? Yeah, they're hanging there. We won't say how, but it is a pleasure to be here tonight in Crossville. We're going to do you a tune here that I heard many years ago. It was one of my grandfather's favorite tunes. And he's the one to turn me on this. It's entitled The Last Railway to Heaven. With an introduce some bread, you must make the run successful from the cradle to the grave. Watch the curves that fill the tunnel, never fall to never fail. Keep your hand upon the throttle and your eyes upon the ground. Blessed Savior, thou guide us till we reach that blissful shore where the angels wait to join us. In God's grace forevermore.
people before we go any further. We got Nathaniel Babe. Is he here? Well, it's his birthday anyway. There he is. It's your birthday. Happy birthday, my friend. My sister and her husband come in. That's Bob and Mitzi. They're on the front row down here. Glad y'all came up. They drove about 2 hours from Nashville up here. And then we got Bonnie over here. She's with us tonight. So, let's get some music to them. I appreciate y'all coming and having. I hope y'all are having a good time because I'm having a good time. I want to do an over on them, y'all know.
I've been waiting on that.
You've been waiting on that. I bet you have. So yeah, I'm just waiting on that one, man. Me and Mitzi and Tan, we're the nephew and niece of Uncle Josh. And he played with Lester Flat Earl Scruggs and the Foggy Mountain Boys for 18 years. And he was the one that put this instrument in bluegrass music. And so he came to Telecom Plains on June 25th, 1975. That'd be 47 years from next June. And he brought me a dobro. And he said, kid, if you can hear this, you can play it. He said, it'll take you all over the world, and it's done that. And it's cost me a lot, but I've made a lot. So it's, I don't know, it's cost me a couple of houses and all kinds of stuff. But that's just part of it, you know, that's just what goes along with it. But it's been good, and I've been doing it 47 years come June. And when I was I've been playing about a year. And we lived at the Roundhouse in Telecom Plains, and in that house, our room was on the back of the house, and the living room and kitchen was up front. And it was about 3 o'clock in the morning one night. I wake up and I think I'm having a dream, and I hear this song in my head, and I thought, you know, that's the most beautiful thing I've ever heard. And I lay there with my eyes shut, and it just kept on playing. And then I thought, wow, I opened my eyes, and I realized I wasn't dreaming. So I thought, this music's coming from somewhere. So I get out of bed and I walk up the hall and I get up to the living room. The closer I get to the living room, the louder the music got. Well, I walk in and Uncle Josh was there. Him and Dad was standing around by the record player, set up in the corner of the living room. And me and Bonnie went up there the day and we went there, and I could still see that record player sitting in that corner. And this song was playing. I said, Uncle, what are you playing? He said, that's my new record. What do you think about it? I said, it's the best thing I've ever heard. I said, what's the name of that song? He said, the name of that song is Pass Me Not. Never heard it played on a dobro before, but I've been playing it ever since, and I hope you don't mind hearing one more time. Pass Me Not. In Jesus' name. I have found out that a GPS does not know that you drive a bus. It will put me on every back road that it can find. It may be 500 feet closer, but it will put me but it will be a lot better to stay on the interstate with a bus. But you know, when it does that, a lot of times all the guys are back there sleeping, I'm up there driving by myself, and I get to see all of this beautiful land and countryside that the Lord has made for us to enjoy. You know, a lot of times in our daily life, we get tired, we get busy. And when we get busy, we rush through things and we don't see the beauty that the Lord has made for us. And I get to look up there and I say, you know, like, we was coming up the mountain over here out of Nashville, and I got to look at the trees coming up through here. And it was just gorgeous, you know what I mean? And a lot of times you just pass by that, or you become accustomed to it. So here recently, since I've been on so many back roads, I've been looking at all the scenery, and I have found out that there's a lot of places out there that a lot of people don't get to see. I get to see a lot of it. We're going to do a song that we got a lot of radio play on this one. It's a wonderful number called The Rural Route. Y'all ready for this? Time to get running in a great big circle. I seem to let go well, too much to change. There's a place that I go where the sun is shining. I know everything's gonna be okay. I'll take the road route, turn right down south till I feel that southern breeze. Smell chicken and sweet tea, that beat in the Georgia way. Ain't no lead away. When I need to turn about, just take the road route. Good country people, so glad to see you. Sitting out on the front porch, wondering if saved. Sunday go to meeting, preaching and singing. Give thanks to the good Lord for everything. Just take the road route, turn right ahead on south, till I feel that southern breeze. Smell chicken and sweet tea, that beat in the Georgia way. I feel trouble leads the way. When I need to make a turn about, just take the road route. Dirt roads and creek banks and tractors and churches and farms. No other place in the world can compare to her charm. Oh, just take the road route, turn right ahead on south, till I feel that southern breeze. Well, chicken and sweet tea, that beat in the Georgia way. I think trouble leads the way. When I need to make a turn about, just take the road route. When I need to make a turn about, just take the road route. All right. So we have a bass player back here. He's been with us about several months now. He's doing a wonderful job. He started out on the bass, and then he went to the guitar, and he's playing the bass for us again. And we enjoy having him. He's a wonderful young man. And see, I'm the old guy up here, guys. I'll call y'all young men, see? Yeah, all of you except me. But anyway, we're going to have him come around and sing you a song. He does a wonderful job. If we will, make him welcome from Johnson City, Tennessee, Mr. Tyler Griffin.
All right, do we have any Jimmy Martin fans out there?
No.
All right, well, this was one I heard first by them on a YouTube video from an old festival up in Ohio. And I'll get back to that in a second here, but first I gotta say, here in Crossville, I'm making my wife jealous. Right now she's in Virginia, and her favorite restaurant is here. It's at Tokyo Japanese Steakhouse over there. Yes, yeah. If you like sushi, I tell you what. All right, here's a song called Little White Church.
one for us that, if you can, think back to when you was a child and think of the home that you grew up in. If you go back today and look at it, I would bet that today it probably looks a lot smaller if it's still there. Ours ain't there much. We got one that's still there, but most of them are gone, you know. So it was it's an interesting, you know, you heard the story on the line that says you can't go home anymore. That is so true. Back whenever we lived in Tellico Plains, Dad had a car lot, and I could get any car I wanted. And I ended up with a 1966 Bonneville Pontiac. And it was like a brand new car. And I loved this car. And I drove it to church, and I drove it to football games, and I'd go back to church and play basketball and stuff like that. So when I got grown, I got me another 1966 Bonneville Pontiac, and I restored it back to original condition. So I took it back to Tellico, and I drove that same route that I had when I was a child, and it wasn't as much fun. I guess because I was paying for that gasoline when that tank. It was like, this is costing me a lot of money here. You know, so it was but you know the saying that you can't go home anymore. That's right. And I went back to the little house, well, the one up there at the roundhouse where we used to live at. The minute I stepped up on the porch, I could still see Mom and Dad. I could see Uncle Josh. I could see our cat that we had. We had a cat that weighed 28 pounds. He laid everywhere. So, we had a dog, and I could still see all that just as plain today. And I stood there for about 30 minutes and just thought, you know, and it was wonderful memories. But if you will listen to this song, it's called I Can't Go Home Anymore. A little frame house on a quiet street, centerpiece of all my childhood memories. Drive that way every now and then to remember where I came from and who I've been. I turned down that old familiar black top when I slow down, but I don't stop. The little house where I was raised surely seen its better days. Somehow looks much smaller than before. Daddy's gone and Mama too is tempted by somebody new. Stranger locked behind that old street door. Well, I still go back, but I can't go home anymore. I wish I'd known way back then just how fast time gets here and it's gone again. One day I'm there with my folks inside. Next I'm just a stranger slowly driving by. You may just see shingles with no walls and doors, but to me it's so much more. Little house where I was raised surely seen its better days. Somehow looks much smaller than before. And he's gone and Mama too is tempted by somebody new. Strangers locked behind that old street door. Well, I still go back, but I can't go home anymore. Backyard where we tossed the ball till Mama said supper's ready, y'all. We held hands while Daddy thanked the Lord. The bedroom where I dared to dream of places I had never seen. A great big world that called me to explore. Then brought me back full circle to this door. Well, I still go back, but I can't go home anymore. Yes, I still go back, but I can't go home anymore. We got time for that. Two more numbers. Get it, me, boys. We'll do text one and another one. It's been a pleasure to be here, and we hope we've done something you've enjoyed. And we hope we've done something you've done blessing. We're going to come back and see you again sometime. nobody ever, he talked about Jimmy Martin a few minutes ago. Me and Jimmy Martin was great friends. He was a wonderful guy. He just was. I loved him. He called me up one morning. It was 3 o'clock in the morning. And I was asleep. My phone rings and I pick it up. I said, hello? What are you doing, Hoss? I said, Jimmy, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm sleeping. He said, I got a song for you that you need to record. So he sung this song for me. All 3 verses. He sung it for me over the phone at 3 o'clock in the morning. So I said, okay, Jimmy, I'll record it because I have a session coming up like within the next couple of days. So I went in the studio and I cut this song. And when I got through cutting it, I called Jimmy up at 3 o'clock in the morning. And he said, why are you calling me at 3 o'clock in the morning, Hoss? I said, I want to sing you this song that I recorded. Well, I played him my version over the phone. He said, sounds pretty good, but that ain't the way old Jimmy did it. I said, you didn't tell me to do it like you just said record it. So anyway, we got this song. I hope you enjoy it. It's called It Takes One to Know One. Talking way too loud. Well, I can see a little tear peeking through. It takes one to know one, and I know you. It takes one to know one, and I know you. A little tear in your smile. You've been hurt, you're so frightened, you're so blue. It takes one to know one, and I know you. Little girl, please take hold of my hand. Don't wanna cry, little darling, I understand. And don't mind if I start crying too. It takes one to know one, and I know you. It takes one. You've been hurt, you're so frightened, you're so blue. It takes one to know one, and I know you. It takes one to know one, and I know you. We will be at our record table here in just a few minutes. And y'all come out there and get your daily supply of lard. We got some sugar-free CDs. They make wonderful coasters. If you don't like the music on them, they make good skeets. I've used them for a couple times as skeets, you know. So get mad at one of my band members, go out there and shoot the CD, and they say, but anyway, we'll be back at our record table. Come back here and say howdy to us, and if you buy a CD, we'll say howdy back to you. How's that? So we're going to do a song that Uncle Josh always ended his first set with, and since we just got one set, we're going to end this set with one that's called Ruben's Trade. But y'all just hang out because my brother's coming up with his band, Ted Graves, an all-star band, and they're really, really good. Or I want to have them on this show. So, I hope Ted heard that. I've been following him around forever, man. He does a wonderful job, and he's one of those guys that he can make it happen, and he does. And it's funny. I love these people that they hire Ted in, and he brings them in a big crowd, and then they decide that it's their building or their place that can do it, so they let Ted go, and they do it themselves. In about a month or two, they shut down. See it happen 3 or 4 times. It's funny. You know, I told them. I said, don't repeat history. Well, they did. But anyway, we're going to do this song. I hope you enjoy this. It's one that Uncle Josh, like I said, in his first set we call Reuben's Train. In a town, seen the train come down. You can hear the whistle blow 100 miles, 100 miles, 100 miles. You can hear that whistle blow 100 miles. If you know what I know, I'm 500 miles away from home. Away from home, away from home.
Got my charger. Yeah, I'm gonna do 10.
Jimmy Haynes, you up hand. How is it? Come on down. I'm Jimmy Haynes.
No, I'm gonna move it over there when Chase gets on, so it's a different, yeah.
I'm gonna do it for the comedian.
Okay, oh, good. Are you gonna, okay, give me time.
Yeah.
Okay, where are you gonna have that?
I'm gonna do it right here.
Okay.
I'm just running the light.
Oh, the light, okay. Okay, all right,
That's
got
not
it.
gonna bother them.
I'm trying to read this